This is the most important question. Now, before I tell you what the question is, you've already seen it. It's on the title of the video. But first, let me turn down my air purifier. Before anybody says, oh, how fancy, you can get one for 30 odd quid off Amazon. And they are worth it, especially if you do have lungs like me that get very inflated by dust. It will clear your dust out completely. Now, back to the topic of the video. Before the devil distracts me. What do you want to do with your life? And I would just sit with that for a bit, because you might start thinking, I don't know what I want to do in my life. If you are somebody that's coming out with that response, there are a couple reasons why. A, you've led your life living up to other people's expectations. You've wanted to please other people. And this commonly happens when you don't have the best of relationships with your parents. It could be with your dad. For instance, I recognize in myself that I was trying to prove my self-worth by my career and my standards. And if I wasn't being successful in my career, then not only was I failing, but I was failing to live up to my dad's expectations. And ultimately, I was trying to earn his respect and appreciation by me going out there and working hard and leveling up myself in my career. I think that was something that I had to recognize in myself, that I had to heal with my dad. And now I'm at a better place. But back to you for a minute. If you actually start to think about this for a second and be calm, sit with it. What do you want to do with your life? And as I said, if the first answer that came to your head was, I don't know what I want to do in my life, the first factor is, as I said, you have been living up to other people's expectations. And you might have not realized it, or maybe you have. Maybe you have started to realize it and thought, you know what? I really have been living by the expectations of my parents. You know, they told me to work hard in school. They told me to go to uni. And then after uni, I'll be set up for life. I'll have my career. And that is what a lot of us get told. Unfortunately, that is a very binary way of living. And it is not an accurate representation of how we should be living our lives. Everybody's different, and you can look at it in a way of how the system has evolved. And there was a time, especially our parents' generation, where a lot of the people that went to uni did get a degree and was actually valuable to them. And they were set up in a way where they would stick with that job or that industry for the rest of our lives. But now, in 2026, we have a huge influx of the digital world, and it's opened up so many avenues, but everybody has become so confused because whilst there being so many doors to open, we're not sure which door to choose, and we're scared if we open one door, it will lead us down a path we don't really want to be doing. So back to my whole point here. So the first factor is there's a likely chance that you have been living up to somebody else's expectations, and that has caused you to feel like you don't know what you've been doing because you've been doing things because other people have wanted you to do them. The other factor is that actually you do know what you want to be doing, yet there is still a fear, there is still a doubt in the way of you fully embodying what it is you want to be doing with your life. You may have a vision of what you already want to do. You may manifest it at times. You may meditate on it. You may think and have clear images of the person you want to become and the life you want to live. Yet you keep lying to yourself in a way where you say, I don't know what I want to do in my life. Yet you're actually lying, because you do know deep down what you want to do, but that is your barrier. So there's two different barriers here. If you're a person that falls under the first factor, being that you have lived under other people's expectations of you, then your barrier is you need to work on putting yourself first more and thinking, is this what I actually want to do? What is it I actually want to do? And you know what? I would take a whole day doing exactly what you want to do. Forget about anybody else. And yes, you may think, oh, isn't that selfish? Well, this is what it requires. You need to be more selfish. In order to be a selfless person, you need to look after yourself and fully love yourself in order to love others. I'm sorry, but that is the way it works. You need to put yourself first, and then you can fully express yourself to others in a very helpful and loving way. If you're a person that falls into category number 2, and you're simply lying to yourself, telling yourself you don't know what you want to do, yet deep down you do, well, you're like me. And I was somebody in category number 1, and then I evolved into category number 2. This is basically where I'm at as well. Now, what do you do in this category? Now, I can tell you what I've done, but it might not work for you. So, for me, I have found it very helpful to find people that you feel very comfortable with, and you feel so comfortable that you can be completely open and honest with them. You need to find your people. Not everybody's going to be very open to receiving what you really want to share. And why I say this, well, what I'm really getting at is, if you want to share your long-term goals, the real goals and things you want to achieve in your life, yet for some reason you feel a bit of fear expressing them to people because you fear that they might judge you, or they might say, oh, that's silly, or that's a pipe dream, or you shouldn't be doing that, you should be doing this, you should be focusing your energy on this. Now, I'm not going to say somebody's going to say that. I'm not going to say they're not going to say that. But what I will say is, you need to be extremely careful on the kind of people you do choose to share your goals with. Now, I would advise against telling everybody your goals, but what I would advise is to find your people that you feel completely comfortable, open and honest with, and you can tell them, look, this is where I want to go. That's what I want to achieve, because people are there to help you along the way. Now, not everybody is. This is why I'm saying, find your people that you feel open and comfortable with, so you can share your long-term vision and they can help you. This is what it's about. So you will know the kind of people that you can feel safe and comfortable with. You will know that. I'm not going to tell you which people to tell, because you will be able to tell by listening to your intuition who are the kind of people that I can openly share my future goals with. I don't need to tell you that. So my advice would be find your people that you feel completely safe and comfortable with, and be completely open and honest about where you want to go, and they will help you along the way. Because if they really do want to see you win, they will do everything within their power to help you along the way. Because by extension, you are also going to be helping them. And that's how it works. That's the synergy there. But if there's any sort of incoherence in the relationship, then I would advise not to share your goals with them, because there's only two likely outcomes of that. If you do tell somebody that there is some sort of incoherence with, they either firstly envy you, or number two, they simply do not care. That's why I would advise against telling people that you feel a little bit less comfortable with. Now back to my question. What do you want to do with your life?